Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Grassroots to Glory football podcast, the football podcast covering the world's game from the local pitch to the global stage. Welcome back. I am Ben, and I'm joined by my co-host Jack. Say hello.
Do you know what? The one thing I've noticed in the 6 episodes this is currently episode 6, is that you do the intro nicely and coherently. When it comes to my intro, it's utter just
It's just hi, welcome back.
it's just all over the gaff. But that's it's just fun. But no, I'm good. I'm good, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good, especially after that FA Cup draw. And obviously, speaking of that, we were at some games.
We were
This
indeed.
weekend, I was at Chelmsford-Chippenham. Unbelievable game. It's one of them, like, I've seen us play Chippenham so many times that I was expecting they're always dull. Like, Chippenham are one of these teams. They're one of the few part-time teams left. They're smallest budget and fan base in the league. They're going to sit deep no matter where they go, and it's always pretty dull. But this one, my God.
Well, it was a bit spicy, wasn't it? From what
It was, honestly, like, I've been going to Chelmsford City for countless years, and that might be one of the best games I've ever seen them play. Just like we went 1-0 down really early, as we always seem to against them. And then we went 3-1 up half time. And you think, okay, just kill the game now. Then one of our players, following, who is on loan, really, really good player, he decided to basically, like, 2 foot, both studs in the air, absolutely snap somebody, got the straight red. And we're like, okay, great. And then it went to 3-3 with like 2 minutes to go. And we think, oh, here we go. We're out. This is it. And then there was an absolute scramble on the goal line, literally like 90 minutes in. It was just bouncing all over the gaff, hit the post twice, and then just landed at someone's feet who just slotted it in. And we won 4-3.
It's the magic of the FA Cup, isn't it? There's sometimes you need a little luck just to get it over the line, and
Oh God, yeah. Honestly, like, it was one of them. The limbs were equivalent to the playoff game against Braintree not last season, the season before. The limbs were unreal. There were people like on the pitch. Honestly, crazy. But yeah, and then you were at a game as well.
I was indeed. I went to Malden versus Flackwell. Do you know what? I'm relatively new to going to Malden. I think first game was 2 years ago, I think. And I wouldn't say and you know this, and anyone that knows me, I'm not an avid game goer. That's not exclusive to any club. I just don't go, right? But both me and myself and my dad have been to all the games in the FA Cup run up. So we thought, we'll do this one as well because, we've done the rest of them. And it was, I think, what's amazing, it was the attendance, I think it was 1,505, which is sick, right? And it was great atmosphere, brilliant. Looked really, really good. Go 1-0 up. And then just before half time, Zach Littlejohn gets himself sent off for a high boot. Stupid tackle. Really, really stupid. Didn't need to do it. But, he did it. And then you would just see this incredible save, right? Incredible penalty save. Brilliant. Keeps us in the game. And to be honest with you, credit to Flackwell, but you wouldn't think it was 10v11. It was, there were times where it got a bit shaky, but overall, it never really felt like we were going to lose. Yeah. So, credit to the team. It's brilliant to see such a low league team get through to the actual, round one, which is incredible for the club. Yeah, it was great. It was something. So yeah, it was a good game to go to. Funny that both the games we both went to went down to 10. So
yeah,
people just apparently are incapable of not getting sent off. So
both managed to go through anyway.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah, good. And then the draw, I was at Chelmsford City yesterday for the draw.
I saw the video.
Club. Oh, everyone went mental. Yeah, and
I
I'll
see
go through
the
some of
boys
the.
in the back, like
Oh yeah, that's like the youth lot just all
yeah,
went mental. Yeah, so they're all going
yeah, I saw
mental.
that.
People have already ordered pyro. It's going to be tasty. So that's
Yeah,
one of the notable draws. Chelmsford drew Braintree, obviously biggest rivals.
hmm
It's last time we played them was the playoff semi-final loss at home to
yeah,
Braintree, and it's time. I think it's genuinely winnable. They're
yeah.
relegation favourites in the National League. We're a much stronger team.
hmm
I think it's going to be so tasty, guaranteed sell out. I don't
I
know how many
think
Braintree will get, but
they just need to stay calm and collected and not let the event or the event get to them, because you know the problem is if it gets too excited, then we see another 10 men might struggle against Braintree with 10. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I think
So
the positive though is that they're the National League side, so they're the team with the
yeah,
things to lose.
yeah,
We're
100%.
necessarily not.
Yeah, yeah,
I have heard as well. I've heard through the grapevine that it is going to be televised as well,
that's cool.
which means it will likely be a Friday or a Monday, which either's fine. I'm not bothered on both. They'll both be evening,
hmm
but yeah, likely televised. So if you do want to watch two non-league teams that hate each other play, it will very likely be televised. But there are
Yeah.
some other decent draws for some teams. So Western Supermare got Aldershot. So at home, unfortunately for them, it's kind of you don't get the big day out, but you're still playing a decent side. Forest Green got Luton away, which is a
Yeah,
big little trip for them. I mean, it's a bit of a journey, but you do it if you're a fan. You'd absolutely do that.
of course.
You got a few I'm not going to mention them all because some of them are just not great. Hemel Hempstead, they're in Chelmsford's league. They get an away day up to Wigan, so that's a big one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a big day out for them. Fair play. That was one like when Wigan came up, we were all like, "Oh, come on!" And then Hemel obviously got drawn with them. We
Well,
were all a bit like,
you wanted Blackpool, didn't you?
Yeah, Blackpool, Bradford, Barnsley, they were probably like the optimal, but unfortunately, we didn't get any of those. To be honest,
hmm
for a lot of us, it was as long as we didn't get sort of like someone in our own league away or Barnet, because we've had Barnet since like
Yes.
2000, we've drawn Barnet like 9 times.
Even I've been to the Barnet game.
Yeah, I think I've been to the Hive maybe 5 or 6 times just to see Chelsea. It's just
Nice
like
stadium, to be fair.
yeah, nice stadium. It's missing a stand though, which
It's
is a
missing
bit
fans as well.
off-putting. Yeah, they got their fan base is terrible. I think part of the problem though, I don't necessarily think it's a fan base issue. It's a lot of the fans of Barnet. I don't think ever got past that it moved. Like the Barnet isn't actually in Barnet.
Yeah,
And I think the fan base has never really got over that. Like now it's like Queensbury, Edgware kind of way.
yeah.
And it's not like a trek, but it's just if if
It's a bit long,
Chelmsford,
isn't
for
it?
example, moved like
Yeah,
half-hour train away, I'd be like, okay, what's going on?
yeah,
Like, I mean, it happened before. We used to ground share with Billericay, and that was like, it wasn't hard to do. It was just a bit annoying.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, unfortunately, but to be fair, it made up for it with what we got. So
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's fair.
not going to complain too
Yeah.
much. Having a look down, there's a few just in the same league. Oldham got Northampton, so that's a step up, really.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's completely doable from Oldham, to be honest with you. Now that Oldham are in League Two these days, where are
Mhm.
Northampton? I don't even know.
Good question.
They're in League One. I'd like to say. I think
I don't know.
I'm
I'm not
sure they're
sure.
in League One, but have a look. Tamworth, so they like getting good draws. They got Leighton Orient,
They got
which
Spurs last year, didn't they? So
yeah, got Spurs. Took them to
almost
extra
replay.
time, and unfortunately, with no replays, Tottenham were able to go through because that replay would have done wonders for Tamworth. But that's a
Oh,
whole other topic that I could moan about for ages. Boreham Wood got Crawley. That's a little decent jump up for them. Obviously, Chelmsford Braintree. Spennymoor, that's a pretty nice one. So Spennymoor got Barrow, which
yeah.
Spennymoor step 2, I believe they play in the North, National League North. And then Barrow play, I believe, in League Two. Nightmare to get to, though, if you're not driving it. Barrow is like in the corner of the world. It's awful
I suspect
to
they'll
get to.
probably do standard coach.
Yeah, they'll have coaches running for it. Train, absolute nightmare because Spennymoor's up by like Newcastle, and
Mhm.
then you have to go all the way across, probably to Carlisle, then down.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
gonna
good.
take ages. Yeah, just take forever. A few others that Southend got Wealdstone away. It's
They
obviously a
did.
National League sort of game, but I
They should
think
win that.
Southend really should win that one. Ebbsfleet got Grimsby away, so that one I think is likely to be televised,
Mhm.
just because Grimsby, they're in a bit of a public eye since beating United and then
Yeah, that's true.
Sheffield as well. So that one is one to look out for. Scunthorpe, the lucky ones, got Blackpool away. This one came out. I can't remember if it came out before. I think it came out before Chelmsford Braintree, and I remember
Right.
Blackpool away coming up. Everyone was like, "Come on, come on!" And then obviously Scunthorpe ended up getting them instead. But yeah,
Scummers.
South Shield, yeah, my old FIFA career, but with Scunthorpe treble
Oh,
winners.
yeah.
Had absolutely no money, but
It's
ended up
great.
winning the treble. I was there like 12 seasons to manage it.
Oh,
Took
that's
ages.
dedication.
Yeah, honestly, I've had a little soft spot for Scunthorpe ever since. I really want to get the ground done, but
Mm,
it's a real pain to get to because it's just the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
What else have we got? Nothing major. South Shield Shrewsbury, which funnily enough, South Shield's a top of National League North, genuinely winnable because of how bad Shrewsbury are at the minute.
Yeah.
So that's doable. Barnet ended up getting Fleetwood, so nice little day out for them. Nightmare to get to because you've got to go to like Blackpool first and then across. It's a bit of a nightmare, but
Mhm.
decent day out for them. And then probably the last notable one, Malden, the lowest ranked team in the
Mm.
competition, got a nice little. That is an unreal away trip to
Yeah.
Stoke to go to
To
Port Vale.
League One at Port Vale. So yeah, that's I think it's good for the club.
Oh god,
It's
yeah, 100%.
you know um, it's a long old trek. So but I'm pretty certain they'll do coach trips and stuff, and
Yeah,
it's no. Uh, it doesn't even matter what the result is. I think everyone's just excited for it. So to
yeah.
to
There's
be in
been
the
one.
round.
It's been like one. I was one in the past when obviously Malden got taken over. I was
Mm,
very much like, Jesus, the money they're spending. It's a step four team with realistically a step two side. But like,
mm.
fair play, what the geezer's done for the club.
Yeah, oh yeah,
The amount he's put in and what he's actually managed to kind of build with it. Like, fair
and
play to him.
and I think the conversation about does money equal success is a conversation for another day. I feel like that's a podcast by itself. But just the feel around the club obviously is very very different to somewhere like Chelmsford, for example. The Malden is very more catered towards your families and things like that. There's obviously a few sort of what you call a die-hard fans, but
Yeah,
a lot of it is a lot more relaxed, and I think people are just enjoying watching the club go up. I mean, realistically, you can't see anything other than promotion this season. So fair play to him, and he obviously cares about the club because he's there all the time. He's not one of those what I call a shadow owner. That turn up at the ground once every 6 years and goes, yeah, it's still standing. So yeah, I mean, it's positives all round. I mean, I said to you earlier, first game I ever went to, it was terrible. The ground was, it was close to, because it was owned by the son of the bloke that used to own Colchester.
yeah,
He didn't obviously care. It was run down. The clubhouse was naff. It was, but now it's got a fresh look, and when you go, everyone seems to be excited to be there, and the football's good to watch, and just the atmosphere is quite, it's I would say it's good if you don't. It's even really good if you don't like football. That's the kind of feel, and I imagine that will change. If and when the club sort of move up the ranks, if you like, and
yeah.
as it gets a bit more quote serious. But yeah, it's a good time. It's probably why I you know, as a non-going football fan, if you like, it's probably why I prefer Malden over somewhere like Chelmsford because it's a bit more relaxed for my liking. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, fair play to him. they've
Yeah, I
done well.
remember
So
the first time I ever went to Malden, it was under the old ownership.
mm,
And yeah, it was like a cesspit. The club was
it's
doing
terrible.
terribly financially. You
Yeah,
were getting average attendances of about 170.
yeah,
It just wasn't good. It
yeah,
was like the stadium almost, or stadium, the ground almost got moved. So that
yep,
they almost sold it.
yep,
It wasn't good. And then I remember going there. I've been there twice this season, but the first time was pre-season when they played Chelmsford.
yep,
And I remember going, I seen like there's a Cybertruck, and I see
yep,
like why there's a Cybertruck outside. I go in, the grounds like the pitch has been done,
yep,
the stands have all been tidied and kind of reorganized.
yep,
Everything looks cleaner. You go in the clubhouse, and I remember going in there thinking, oh, Jesus, this has all been
yeah,
redone. Like it's all been done. And fair play, he's done it. He's Druitt Barlow's done a great job with it,
yep,
and it is one of them. Being obviously a local club to us, it's
hmm
something that I am keen to see. Sort of how they progress. I
yeah.
very much assume they'll win Eastmere North this season,
I
and
assume so.
then step three, we'll see how they get
Yeah,
on. But realistically, I think they could be competing like step two level.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then that's when it starts getting tough. That's when it's like there's a big difference between your full time teams and your part time. So,
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
but
I can
other
see it
than that,
going that way. I can see it going the way of becoming similar to how Chelmsford changed, becoming full time. I think
yeah,
that I imagine that would be the natural next step. But that's sort of miles ahead, I think.
yeah. There's
But
not many step four and three teams that are
no,
full time at the moment. You've got a
no,
few like Chatham comes to mind that are full time,
yeah,
but there's not many. So, but yeah, other than that, I think fair play to him.
yeah,
What he's done, he's obviously taken a club that he's always followed and made them bigger and
yeah,
given them really high average attendances for the level. I mean,
yeah.
the FA
It's
Cup
sick.
game, they got higher attendance than Chelmsford did.
Yeah,
Like, fair
it's
play.
quality. It's quality.
Yeah.
I mean, before we move on from the FA Cup and before we move on from Malden, I just want to give a shout out to Peter Taylor, the ex-manager, who is currently winless at Canvey Island. Um, crouch down some more, mate. You might win a game. Just keep going. It's all right. Don't worry about it, lads.
Why did he leave Malden? Did
Because
he
he's
leave
terrible.
because he was he sacked, or was it a
Yeah,
case of like
I'm
he
not
got
actually
offered a step
100% sure.
three?
I think I don't want to speculate. I don't actually know the answer.
Yeah.
All I know is that he was terrible, and if he was sacked, I'm not surprised. If he left on his own accord, it's probably just to save face. But he was, he's not great.
I'm
And
surprised. Yeah, it would strike to me considering he got a step three move that he
you'd
left on his
assume, right?
own, but
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
don't know for sure.
No, and I don't. I'm not. I mean, I'm not that arsed. It's just funny that they haven't won a game.
Yeah, and they're
Um,
one of the few teams left that are winless. 1 point, they
you know,
absolutely going down.
yeah. But it's no disrespect to Canvey, by the way. It's just because it's him. So
Well, no, full disrespect to Canvey. It's a terrible place. The ground is terrible. To be fair, though, the fan base is actually all right. I remember we Chelmsford played them in the Essex Senior Cup last season,
mm,
and they beat us on pens. And their fan base, to be fair, were all like, all the young lads were like, yeah, safe journey back to Chelmsford, all of that. Like, so fair play. Like, the fan base is full of like good lads, but
although
yeah, your
yeah,
club's bad and the place is bad.
geographically, how do you have a place that if it floods, you can't get in or out? What do you mean?
That's like Mersey as well. There's a few places around here that like that. To be
But
living on a
yeah,
little peninsula. But yeah, so fair play to Druitt Barlow for what you've done at Malden.
yep,
And in terms of like results and stuff, it's been international break. Not a lot's happened.
no,
There's really England only played a friendly against Wales, which is a strange one because Wales then had Belgium 4 days later. It just don't know. It's a weird decision. It's clearly money is why they've
of
done it.
course it is. That's why these international breaks happen. It's stupid. I don't get it. I will never get it. Yeah, and nothing you can tell me will ever convince me otherwise. I think these
No,
international breaks are pointless. I don't get it.
yeah, not a fan at all. But in terms of, I guess, coming out of that, Tottenham, the only really big news is
Mm,
of Tottenham are getting a nice little injection of money from the Lewis family, a
mm,
100 mil. Roughly, and obviously there's speculation on what it's going to be used for. Some
mhm,
of the stuff that from what I'm aware of, this is purely for new capital. It's not traded for an increase in shares or whatever that might come from an equity injection through kind of an issuance of new shares. It's purely capital,
Hmm.
which is a big move. I think that's good.
It's interesting because obviously I don't want to dwell too much on it because we've got a couple more things to do. But the interesting thing is that we were talking, I think it was a couple of episodes ago, about the potential of the club being sold, and interestingly, and to be honest with you, 100 million doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, just to put it into perspective of a transfer, they Liverpool paid more than that for Alexander Isak.
Yeah,
You know, so. And for a club like Tottenham, I mean, currently I think they're valued at about 4.25 billion. I think it is something like that, whatever it is, something around that number. 100 million doesn't seem like a lot to invest into a club of that size. Um, so, and I know, obviously, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand that 100 million is a lot of money, no matter what you look at it. But in football terms, it's not. Is it really? So I just don't see the point of this being a big sort of deal, saying that they're investing this money. For a club size of Tottenham, 100 million isn't a lot. But you get my point. I'm trying to.
yeah, no, 100 mil in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot. I think it's more the purpose of it. So
Yeah.
the cash is used for the daily operations of the club, and that can mean on the pitch. If it was me, I'd give that all to Bournemouth right now and get Semenyo in, but
Oh, yeah.
that's just me. But there's a thing. I think you could get a couple of players. So two that they have been looking out for, Wharton and Semenyo, have been two that they've had their eye on.
Yeah.
Whether or not you get both for 100, I'm not sure. But
I very much doubt Palace will shift for less than 70, to be honest. I think you
yeah,
take Wharton out of Crystal Palace's midfield and they're kind of stuck. So I think it will take a lot to shift him out of there.
yeah,
Um,
I think so. Palace doing well as well.
absolutely.
So might want to see it out a bit, but I do believe so. I'm just kind of a flicking through just so I've got the economics of it right.
Mhm.
And the reason it's 100 mil and not more is because the Premier League has limits over 3 years how much you can put in.
Right.
So it's about 125 mil over 3 years, and they already put stuff in last January.
Hmm.
So I think it probably is just to stay in line with
Yeah. PSR and
financials. Yeah,
whatever else. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's interesting though. I mean, like I say, we were talking about him potentially being sold. Levy stepping down. Was it going to be uh, the club being sold? But to me, this kind of just completely goes against that. I mean, you wouldn't invest 100 million in something you're planning on getting rid of soon. Um, so it's interesting to see what they actually do with it, and um, yeah, I guess there's not really much else to.
yeah, yeah. So obviously, looking at the kind of maths of the financials, I'm not going to sit here and talk about that, but the ownership stake that ENIC have is only going up like 1% from it. It's not
Mhm.
like it's not necessarily for ownership stake. So there
Yeah,
could be a potential sale down the line still, but it basically means that once you adjust for net debt of the club, that the valuation of Tottenham realistically would be looking at somewhere like 3 billion.
do you?
So
I mean, I don't want to dwell on the financials, but do you think A, Tottenham are actually in debt, and B, looking at certain numbers, with Ted Bowley buying Chelsea for what was it 4.25? Obviously, Man United's estimated about 4.5. I feel like a club like Tottenham that are notoriously sound financially, they've got extremely high turnover, incredible sales and whatever else. It's just interesting to see it estimated at that price because it's
yeah,
profitable.
bear in mind the stadium cost 1 billion, and I don't think they paid it off.
Sure,
There's
yeah,
a lot of debt coming from that.
yeah, I
Um,
suppose, yeah.
so I think you've got to take that off because if obviously something that
S-
happens.
Someone's got to
Um,
fork the bill at some point, right?
yeah, exactly. If they haven't financed the whole thing yet, not sure if they have or not. I don't think they have.
Mhm.
So That's a factor. But yeah, we could obviously sit and dwell on financials, but we're not going to sit here and bore
Nah,
everyone with the maths
nah,
of the financials.
that's
So
boring, mate.
yeah, that's absolutely not what I want to sit and talk about. But I think that obviously we're in international. There's not a lot going on. So an idea you had was, why don't we sit and name the best players in every Premier League club? And
Mm,
obviously, this is largely an opinionated thing.
mm,
So we'll have different opinions on it. I've kind
hopefully,
of given myself a set of rules that I can only use a player who's currently there. So I've
yeah,
based it on the last 3 seasons or so. Um, I couldn't use, for example, Mbeumo at Brentford because he's no longer
yeah, that's
there.
cheating, mate.
Yeah, stuff like that I haven't counted. So it's only going to be based on the last 3 seasons, or if a player's been outstanding in a shorter time they've been at a club,
Yep,
and they have to be currently at the club. That's really the only rules
yep.
that I've given. So we'll start with obviously Arsenal. I'll let you start off.
Okay, so I personally think their best player is Declan Rice. I think the way Arsenal have changed in the last even what's he been there 3 years now, something like that.
Yeah,
Obviously, they're knocking on the door every year. You know, they went quite far in the Champions League, and I think a lot of that is down to Rice. I think without him, they struggle. I think they can go without Saka, which they have done for periods of time recently. Saka's been injured, and they've been performing. I think without Rice, you don't. Obviously, Jude Mendy's a very good player, but he's not a direct replacement, and they're not the same kind of player. So I think
yeah,
you take Rice out of that system, they look not significantly worse, but they do look worse. I think Rice, he can get forward, he gets back, he's pivotal to the way Arsenal play, set pieces, you name it, he can do it. So I think in an ideal world, he should be their captain as well. So yeah, I think for me it'd be Rice.
Okay, so I've kind of gone. You obviously mentioned Saka. That's who I've gone with as who I think Arsenal's best player. So he's got the highest average player rating in the club by a margin over the last 3 seasons, sitting at 7.7 average in 3 years, which is absurdly high.
Hmm.
That's like outrageous. And I also got in depth. So I've done for every player I've picked. I've actually gone quite in depth with the percentile that they are in the league in certain stats
Hmm.
over 3 seasons. Saka is in the upper percentile for virtually everything in the league, offensively. Obviously, not necessarily defensively, but even defensively for forwards, he is still, other than like interceptions and aerial duels, he is still in the top upper kind of percentile for players in the league in defensive work. He's one of the lowest dispossessed players for the amount of touches he has on the ball and successful dribbles he does is outrageous. He also last season when um, Odegaard got injured, Saka took the armband, and I think did a really good job with it. And yeah, I just think I know it's kind of the basic answer for whenever someone's asked about Arsenal, but I think statistically, I just think he looks the best player there. And yeah, they obviously have had spells without him, and they've done perfectly fine. I just think they look a much better team with him there, and I think for the raw talent, I think he's the hardest player to replace on that team.
And he's great at limping. No, I'm joking. I think question to you then:
Yeah.
if I was to say to you, I'm going to take out one of them, um, like permanently, and you still think that they're going to go on the trajectory they're on, you think if I took out Rice, it would be the same as if I took out Saka, or do you think it'd be if I took Saka out, they'd be worse, like permanently? So just
Um,
they sell them, right? So you have to sell one of them, right?
Looking at it, so you got to sell one.
Yeah,
If you've got to sell one. So
yeah.
I think both of them, I think, would be very, very difficult to replace. Don't
Hmm.
get me wrong.
I'm not arguing with you, by the way. I don't think Saka's a bad shout. I'm not saying that by any stretch that that's a
Yeah,
terrible call because I
and
think both of them have a good shout.
yeah, I think they're both. Declan was the other one in my mind when
Mm,
I was doing it. I
yeah,
think they'd be both incredibly hard to replace.
yeah.
I think probably. Declan Rice, not for the fact that I think he's better than Saka. I just think that position is harder to fill than a winger.
Yeah, that's true. That's
More
true.
so. And I think for me, it's the fact that Saka has got such a consistently high player rating across multiple seasons. Just shows there's a little bit more consistency in him
Yeah,
for the level, and I think
yeah. I don't hate
that's
it.
ultimately
I
why
don't
I've
hate
gone
it.
for it.
I don't hate
But
it. I think, yeah, like you said, there's an argument for both. I think if someone was to argue either way, I don't think anyone could be upset about it. So yeah, no, I don't hate it. So yeah, fair. Yeah.
cool. And then moving on, we're going to do an alphabetical. So on Villa.
Huh. This one, um, I, I went Morgan Rogers.
Okay.
I just think it's kind of difficult because I almost went John McGinn because captain, he always seems to pull up when they need him. He's not a glamorous footballer, but he's just there, isn't he, for Villa, and he always has been. I think, but I think Rogers, just trajectory wise, if anything, he's probably the most promising player that Villa have got. He has done big things in games. The way he plays is incredible. And again, going back to what I said about Rice, they seem weaker without him. I think,
Yeah.
he has been injured, which has sort of been a detriment to him. But yeah, I think young talent, massive, massive prospect. So
Yeah,
yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, I think it's definitely a good shout. I think I've gone for Ollie Watkins again. Pretty
okay,
basic
yeah,
answer for these.
yeah,
7.4 average player rating over the last. I think it was about 3.5 seasons, which again is very high for someone who's essentially a striker.
yeah.
Um, over the last 3.5 seasons, he's in the upper percentile. So when I say upper percentile for these, generally it means like top 5%. Some of them are a bit lower, but it generally means they are one of the best in the league on average in these kind of stats. So
Mm-hmm.
over the last 3.5 seasons, he has been in the upper percentile for goals. Shots on target, assists as well. He actually is one of the top in the league,
Mm-hmm.
like full stop on assists over the last 3.5 seasons. Also, successful passes, he's very high. He's about like the upper 15 odd percent for a striker, which fair enough. That's a good stat when you're comparing that to like midfielders and people like that. His long ball accuracy is really high as well for the position. The only thing he really lacks is dribbles, but again, he's a number 9. He's not necessarily someone who's going to be dribbling around players, but
No.
has a lot of touches. And I think similar to Morgan Rogers, he's a player that I think Villa look worse if he's like this season or he's currently injured. Hasn't had necessarily the best start this season. And I think Villa, there's a noticeable difference in Villa when he's either not performing or is injured.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that is partly why I think Villa aren't doing as well, is because he's injured right now. Fact that he's injured and obviously hasn't had the greatest start. And I believe he will, once he gets kind of firing again, I do feel that they will pick up in games.
Yeah, potentially. I think the only thing I would say is that he was pushed out by John Duran at points when he was there. Sort of lower performances. Yeah, I think he's a very, very good player. I don't hate that shout. So,
I think, yeah, John Duran, obviously big talent, attitude problems, kind of
he was
they
gone missing. Oddly enough, I
yeah,
think the Saudi
with the
team, I think, almost
Saudi.
want to went to him, but they want to get rid of him already.
Um, I think it's the same one Ronaldo was at Nazir, I think. But
Yeah,
yeah, he's his attitude problems. Duran, don't think he was there long enough for me to really consider him.
nah,
But good player in his own right. But yeah, Watkins over him for me.
yeah, fair.
So moving on, Bournemouth. I am going to assume I've mentioned him already. I'm
Same.
going to assume we've both got the same here.
Submit.
Yeah, Semenyo.
Yeah,
If you want to give any sort of reasonings,
not really. Just the best player
yeah,
at Bournemouth.
yeah,
Carry on the
100%.
back. You know, I think a notable mention to is it Truffert this season and
Yeah,
Senasti? Is it the
yeah,
defender? both been incredible, but they haven't been there long enough for me to go, yeah, they're the best. But Semenyo, yeah, he's just
Yeah, 100%.
any top draw club will be after him. Um, I think
Yeah,
they're lucky to hold on to him.
absolutely.
Yeah, incredible,
Got
great.
average of, again, 7.7 average player rating over his time at Bournemouth. I don't think he's been there quite as long as Saka. Like, I could have
He's,
clocked it over 3 seasons with Saka.
yeah,
I don't think Semenyo's been at Bournemouth long enough.
no,
He, maybe 2 seasons, but over those seasons he has been at Bournemouth, he's averaging a 7.7 average player rating. By the way, I know player ratings are different everywhere you look. I'm basing this off of FootMob. So
mhm,
this is obviously what I'm going on. If you look at like the Guardian or something, they might give a different like average rating, but for what I'm looking at, that's kind of what he's been given. Average 7.7, so that's upper percentile in the league completely. And having a look, I think there is no, that is the highest, joint highest with a couple others at 7.7 over the last few years. Been outstanding. I've actually seen him live as well at Goodison Park when they played Everton in the FA Cup
mhm.
last season. I'd like to say
Yeah, it
it
was.
was the last men's FA Cup game at Goodison, so we got it ticked off, and Semenyo absolutely just ran the show.
Yeah. He's
Like,
different, great.
yeah, and I think they'd be incredibly lucky to keep hold of him, especially you've got Tottenham are sniffing, and some other big clubs
Yeah,
are
yeah.
going to be sniffing. I can't see him. I don't know how long left he's got on his contract, but I can't imagine they'll keep him past it.
No, no, I don't think so. That's no disrespect to Bournemouth, but yeah, it's.
I just think he's a better player than
I agree.
like that club. Unfortunately,
Although
like
saying that, he signed a contract extension till 2030, so who knows?
okay, so it depends. It's going to obviously be he's going to be expensive, but
Yeah,
teams
someone will do
obviously
it.
can. Yeah, like I mean, Tottenham had a nice little
It'll be
cash
Chelsea.
injection.
Watch,
Yeah, it's good.
they'll come and do what they normally do and go, "Here you go, lads. Here's 150 million. Have him." And you
Yeah.
can't say no to that amount of money.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely take it. But yeah, moving on. I think this one I found really difficult. What have you got for Brentford?
I didn't actually find it very difficult at all.
All right.
I think one name sticks out for me, and it's Damsgaard. I think by far their standout player for a very long time. I think he's just reliable. He's a good playmaker. Um, he's very good defensively as well. I think he just keeps that midfield ticking even when Brentford aren't at their best. I think you can always sort of rely on him. Even I think their fans voted him their best player of last season.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just think strong work rate, very, very good player. One of those sort of underrated players, like the kind of players that they're not all, in the lights and all this sort of stuff. They just kind of get the job done and you forget that they're there. That kind of
yeah,
player. So yeah, I think no one else. It would have been Embuemo, I think,
yeah. It would have
but
been for me, I think, if he hadn't obviously have gone
yeah,
to
but
United.
yeah, I think next best for me would be Mikel
Yeah,
Damsgaard.
yeah, he's who I went as well. I
Mhm.
struggled because his average player rating over the last few seasons isn't very good. It's very average.
Mhm.
Um,
I think that's
but then
reflective of Brentford, though, isn't it?
yeah, you look at like the only one that's not is Norgard, but he's left.
Yeah,
He went to Arsenal, so I couldn't include him. But he had a high, he like 7.3
yeah.
average over the last. He obviously consistently very good, but
Mhm.
gone. And Buemo consistently good, gone. Wisa again,
Gone.
like they're all gone. So
David Raya was there, remember?
yeah.
You
David
know,
Raya, obviously Flecken, I think was good as well
yeah,
in times when he was there. But yeah, I really struggled. And the only other option was like Igor Tiago, who's only just
yeah,
joined.
yeah. Or even
But
Kevin
like
Schade, I think, had a shout.
yeah, there are a few. Igor has only been there. I think he was there last season, but he played literally like 5 games.
Yeah, yeah.
It's he's been consistently good, but I think
Mhm.
Damsgaard's just been there longer. He's very
Yeah,
consistent.
yeah.
So I
I
went for
agree.
the same reasons, really. There wasn't really a huge amount.
Yeah.
Who have you got for Brighton? I have a suspicion we may have the same.
Was it the man that Man United are after?
Who?
Baleba.
Who's? Oh no, I haven't got Belabry. He hasn't been there long enough for
Oh,
me.
interesting. Okay. Go on, you go first. I'm interested.
I got Matoma. I think
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
incredibly consistent player. I
Underrated.
did. There were some. So Belabor for me only really had like I was looking at the average player ratings and the obviously stat percentile. Other than last season, Belabor's not been good. He's had
No.
one good season really. That might upset people, but it's just what it is.
Mhm.
He's had one good season, and even then, there were still better players. Um, Obviously, others, João Pedro was consistent but gone.
I think
And
that
then,
was the problem.
yeah, a lot of their good players.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you look at this season, Minter looks really good, but
Yeah.
again, I don't think performed past that.
Mhm.
He wasn't incredible last season, and then I don't even know if he was there before that. I don't think so.
Yeah, he went. I think it was the 23-24 season because Newcastle had to sell him for PSR. I think it was him and Elliot Anderson, didn't they? They had to
Yeah, Elliot Anderson.
offload
Yeah,
him.
he's gone.
Um,
But yeah, Elliot Anderson went somewhere. Was
he
it
went Forest, didn't he?
Forest? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, he did. And there was some other Solly March, but again, hasn't done anything for quite some time.
Injured
And
a lot.
Matoma, yeah, he's had some bad luck. And I think Matoma's just been like the most consistent
Yeah,
player they've had for the last few seasons. He's
yeah.
always going to give it 110%. He's an engine, will constantly run. Hasn't had the
Yeah.
best start to this season, but
Brighton
I
haven't though,
don't
have they?
think no, not particularly. But looking at previous seasons, he is in the upper percentile for even defensive. Like that's one thing he's really notable for as a
Mhm.
forward is the amount of defensive work he does. It's just his work rate is so high, and
Yeah.
for me, I think he's been the most consistently good over the last few years.
Yeah, no, I don't hate it. I think it very much depends on how you do your lists, isn't it? Like, if it's stat driven, then yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I think Belabor, just for anything trajectory, I think we're looking at another player that is going to be another Caicedo that's going to go for 100 and something million out of nowhere. I think
yeah.
he's got a lot of raw talent. I think I did genuinely almost put James Milner in. Um,
I don't actually think it's a bad shout.
Purely for the same reasons about Damsgaard, just unnoticed, and the bloke is about 47 and still going. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think for sort of trajectory, what he could potentially do for the club, even if it's financially, um, yeah, Belabor, and every time I have seen him play, you can see that there's a player there, and
yeah,
they have this funny thing. Brighton is that I mean, everyone notices it. They've got this scouting network that they just pick out the most random players from these leagues that no one's even heard of, and they just become machines, and then they sell them on for stupid amount of money. So, you know, credit where credit's due, I suppose.
Yeah, I actually watched a video on how Brighton and Brentford as well do it. They have a
Yeah,
very similar system. A lot of it is like data and AI, how
yeah,
they do it, and
yes,
it
yes, yeah, I've
works.
seen that. Yeah,
It's very
and
similar. It's like Football Manager kind of
yeah,
system.
in essence, yeah, yeah, yeah. And some people try and copy it, and it just doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't work. But yeah, okay, yeah. I think I'm not mad at Matoma. I think, yeah, I think that's a good shout.
yeah. I struggled with the next lot. So the relegation teams, who
Yeah,
obviously, well, I say relegation teams like they're all going to get relegated, but the ones that just
yeah,
came
yeah.
up because they either haven't like Sunderland and Leeds haven't been in the Prem long enough.
No,
Recent, this is like Burnley is kind of one off, one in. So I kind of had
yo-yo,
to
aren't
just
they?
go with, like what they're like now. Yeah,
Hmm.
because like Burnley literally has been Prem Championship, Prem, and Leeds
Yeah,
have had a couple seasons out. Sunderland obviously haven't been there for years, so I kind of just had to go with what my gut was telling me now. And Jaden Anthony was about it that I could think
yeah.
of.
That's a dot.
Scored a lot of goals, 4 goals in 7, and I think he currently this season is like the only player that's got an above 7 average player rating.
Yeah,
He
you
in the upper percentile so far for strikers in attacking stats, other than things like passes. Again, even that he doesn't look great compared to some of the others that we've already mentioned. But
mhm.
I just think for Burnley, I think he's the only notable player I could really mention.
Yeah, no, I didn't even really think of him actually. I went for two, depending on how you feel about it. So obviously caliber player with Kyle Walker. Maybe not the Kyle Walker of today, but in terms of like a pedigree player, he is by far probably their
Yeah,
best
raw
player.
talent,
You
100%.
know,
He's gonna
treble
separate,
winner,
but
Man City captain. You know, I mean, he's a bit of a word I'm not going to say on the podcast because we like to keep it clean. But you know, as a City fan, we don't like him. So yeah, I think him, or is it Esteve, the defender?
Esteval or whatever,
He
yeah.
he looks good.
Esteve, yeah, something
I
like
think the
that.
problem is Burnley, right? They're not great. I think you have to take that into consideration sometimes.
Yeah,
And they I mean, take the Liverpool game for example. They look good defensively up until like the last minute. So I think he's a young player, promising. Whether he'll do anything, I don't know. But yeah, that one I really sort of struggled with. I don't really.
yeah. I did. I think Esteve. I did look at him. He had his average player rating's terrible this season. He's got like 5 points something. He's not. He's not. He's not been good.
Well, he has
He
been
looked good.
sent off.
Yeah, there's a problem. Like he just keeps
Yeah,
getting. But I just couldn't do it. He had a good year in the championship, but he looks like he hasn't translated well at the step up.
yeah,
And that you could say that about a lot of the squad. That's the problem.
yes,
So I
yeah.
found it tricky. Carl Walker again, I did look at, but he's not had a good start.
No,
I struggled. But moving on to a slightly better team, Chelsea. I've been
hmm
interested. Who have you got? I'm interested for this one.
I've got Robert Sanchez.
Okay.
I haven't really,
I was gonna say, like, I
but
didn't want to be like harsh. I was questioning it in
well,
my head.
I'm
But
going to say this open with I'm a better keeper than Robert Sanchez. Bloke. I mean, he's not as bad as Onana, but he's bad.
he's better than
He,
Onana.
he is bad. No, I went with Cole Palmer. I think
Okay.
you could. I think there's 3 or 4 players in that team currently that you could go for. I think Cole Palmer. I think even Enzo Fernandez now. Caicedo. Reece James. Problem is with Reece James, he's never fit. So it's kind of hard to say he's their best player when he's very rarely plays these days. Getting better, don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure he pulled out of England because he's injured. So,
Yeah.
which is kind of difficult to say that he's their best player. But yeah, I think Cole Palmer. I think you know, was it not last season, season before? I would comfortably say he single-handedly carried them to where they got to. I think.
Conor Gallagher, I think, as well. They played a big part. He was really strong that season.
Yeah, yeah. I just think. I think as I mean, I'm maybe a bit salty because we let him go, but yeah, I think Cole Palmer. I think the performances speak for themselves. I think.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, you mentioned him. I've gone Caicedo.
Yeah,
Cole Palmer, he's obviously done very well for what he's been at Chelsea for the last 2 years. So this is his 3rd season. He's obviously been very good. Not doubting that at all. Just looking at Caicedo, for me, he's got the 2nd highest average player rating of any midfielder in the league over the last 3 seasons. There's only one player that's higher, who I will get into later. But he is so consistently good. Had a little bit of a rough kind of first 6 months or so, but since
6 months.
then,
I feel like the first season he was there, he was terrible.
what 20? When did he come in? 23, 24,
23, yeah, it wasn't.
7.15 average player rate. I think consistent. Not. I think just the standards were so high because he was so
Yeah,
expensive.
he's definitely better now though. Like, I think
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
question about that.
And I genuinely would argue that because he is so absolutely defensively sound in the midfield, he controls the game so well that I would argue, and you could potentially say the same about Saka, to be fair, but I would argue that Cole Palmer has been allowed to be as good as he is because Caicedo is essentially an absolute
Doing the
unit
dirty
in
work.
the midfield. Yeah, you could probably argue the same for Saka and Rice, to be fair. But I think Rice is a bit more of a forward player than Caicedo.
No, definitely.
He's very much, and I think without Caicedo there, I think that midfield potentially just gets torn apart.
Yeah, you do notice it when he's not there. I will
Yeah.
give you that.
Whereas Cole Palmer, don't get me wrong, they haven't been as good, Chelsea, but they're still a
He's
solid
replaceable
team.
now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I,
With
I,
the
I
players
think
they brought in, I think I'm arguing against my own points.
there was obviously like it was between him or Cole Palmer for me because
Yeah,
yeah, Cole Palmer is just I think a raw talent is
yeah,
unbelievable. One I was considering was Kukurea as well. I really like
yeah.
Kukurea as a player, mega consistent, but I think
The
Caicedo is just
resurgence of Cucurella is quite
yeah,
interesting.
been unbelievable ever since he kind of started playing for Spain. Really, he
Yes,
just
yeah,
he just absolutely just started performing everywhere.
because when he first came, he was pants.
Yeah, he
'Cause
wasn't good.
we almost bought him, and we were like, oh, we've got away with one here, and now he's probably one of the best left backs in the country. So fair
Yeah,
play.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, one thing I like about Caicedo is he is really high, obviously statistically in defence, but also in chances created as well. So
Mhm.
does a bit of everything, and that's why I like him. And then Crystal Palace, who have you got?
I went Mateta. I think.
Okay,
I think just up front, I'm surprised he's still at Palace. I think he's underrated massively. I think people look at him and go, "Oh, he's not that great," but he's powerful. He's quick. He manages to bag some incredible goals. I think they don't score the amount of goals that they have without him. I think
yeah, 100%.
when Eze went, that was obviously an outlet for him, but now they don't. They lost Eze, they lost Elise. They don't. No, they've still got Mateta. But without Mateta, who do they? You know, who do they? He just all of a sudden has just come into his own. Now I think he started he's played for France now, and yeah, I love him. I think I do. I think he's a great
Yeah,
player.
Ismail Assar maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good shout. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a shout. It was between two for me. It was either the player I went with was Daniel Munoz or
Okay.
Mark Gahey. I think were the two.
I
I
actually forgot
think
about
I
Gay.
think those two are the most. Even Dean Henderson was someone I considered as
Yeah,
well.
Dean Edison's been good.
I
You
think that
hated him at
that
United.
night,
United fans
yeah,
hated
oh,
him.
he was donkey, but he I think at a smaller club where he can kind of be a bit more
Be a man.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he shines a lot more. I don't think he was ever suited for a top club.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daniel Munoz for me, I think over the last few seasons, I think he's been their most consistent outside of players who are no longer there. So this season so far, really high, 7.4 average player rating,
Mm.
7.4 last season. Season before that again. Don't know if he was actually there. Might be completely lying to you. Yeah, I think it's the last two. He's got a 7.4 average player rating across 2 seasons. I think he's an absolute workhorse, similar to Matoma. This pick, just he's always going to be very consistent. Very rarely
Mm.
has a bad game. Always high up in the sort of percentile of stats for going forward. Not so much going back. I think defensively, just Jules one is probably lower than it should be for a wing back, but I just think he provides so much, and the other one for the same reasons was Gahey.
Yeah.
So consistently good, and part of why they're so defensively sound.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think with Munoz, the only thing he gets way too many cards. He is a
Yes.
bit like
He's a bit
petulant.
aggressive.
Yeah, but for me, I went with him. Just I think it probably would have been like Eze, but obviously gone or Elise, but they obviously
Mm.
went away
Yeah. Don't hate
to Arsenal and Bayern. But moving on to Everton.
it. Go on. I'll let you go first.
So this one, there was a few players that I was really picking between. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like. There was Grealish for raw talent, but he's not been there long enough for me to class him
And he's
as
technically not Everton's player.
yeah, technically not. So I didn't really want to include him.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went Jordan Pickford, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, me too.
Did you? Yeah, I think just
Yeah.
he's been an incredibly consistent keeper across his whole career.
Yeah.
I also, this has nothing to do with how good he is. It's just I really like that he's just stayed at Everton, despite
I was going to
probably
say
could
the exact
have.
same thing.
Yeah, I think he's been consistently good. His player ratings are consistently good. He's keeps a fair amount of clean sheets as well. When realistically, with some of the defenses he's been behind, probably shouldn't have done.
And
But
he's just on a new contract as well, so he's
yeah,
he's
probably I think
loyal.
he's career man there now.
100%.
Um,
Yeah.
and also for England as well, he's been incredibly sound too.
Oh god, yeah.
Rarely
Yeah.
puts a foot wrong. I don't think he's ever really at fault for games that Everton kind of have that go badly.
No,
So
I
for
I
me,
think if anything, he's one of their stable things.
yeah,
You can rely on him.
yeah. And for me, there are a few that I was looking at thinking who can I put in, and there was like Idrissa Gay, but I don't
Mhm.
think he's had a couple of good seasons, but nothing really more. And then you've got your kind of workhorses like James Garner and Tarkovsky that are always
Tarkovsky would
solid,
have been
but
close, I think.
yeah, he was one that I almost put in. James Garner didn't start off too hot at Everton and has kind of come into it since. But yeah, for me, just Pickford.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement. I don't have anything else that I think. Yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
great player.
Who's next? Fulham. Who have you got for
Mm.
Fulham? I kind of struggled with this.
I went Adama. No, I didn't.
Dharma
Adama Traore.
Traore.
The only thing Adama Traore is good at is applying baby oil to his arms. So, um, if anyone's interested, I for some reason have this unnatural, not hate. Hate is a strong word, but I don't like Adama Traore. Um, I went Iwobi. I think consistent for them, goes under the radar a little bit. Very very talented player. Um, Yeah, I don't think there's much really to dwell on him. I just think Fulham, uh, the only other one I might have gone for would have been Jimenez, potentially, but
Okay.
I I can't, or even Robinson as well potentially. But yeah, I think Fulham are a strange team for me. I don't really. It sounds I'm not being disrespectful to Fulham, but I just kind of look at them as a team. I don't look at them as like individual
They're
players.
boring. There's,
You know,
I'm not going to beat around the bush. They're boring to me.
they're kind of just there and they do well. I
Yeah.
don't go, oh, that guy from Fulham, he's sick. Like I just go, oh, Fulham are
No.
all right. You know,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're mid-table team, aren't they? So yeah, I would go Wobie.
Yeah. Yeah. He was one I looked at, but I went with Kenny Tete in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think last season he was up there. I think it was only, funnily enough, I think Iwobi and Robinson that were on average higher than him. It's just this season, I think he has been their standout player, maybe with Joaquin Anderson as well. But Iwobi not had a great
Oh,
start to the
Anderson's got it.
season. Same with Robinson. I don't know if Robinson is he injured.
I think he's been
Or is
injured.
he?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he's
because
been injured.
he's not really. I think Tete he's got 7.4 average player rating across the last, I'd like to say, 2 seasons. I don't think he's been there for 3, but got high average player rating. Nothing like crazy about him. He's not like
Yeah.
unbelievable or anything like that. But I just think he's probably like the most consistent out of the kind of lot you've got. He's got decent stats in like assists and long
Hmm.
balls for someone who plays quite a lot of sort of wing. He's
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. I just think it was him or Iwobi for me, and I just went the other way.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
But
Like I said, just kind of there, aren't they?
yeah, exactly. Moving on to so the alphabet kind of skips a bit now. Moves on to Leeds. I struggle
Yeah.
with these for the same reasons as Burnley. They haven't been in the Prem for the last 2 seasons, so I
No.
just kind of
Go
had to
on.
just go with whoever was good. It's Sean Longstaff, just because he's probably been their best player.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. I went DC. No, yeah, I was gonna go DCL. No, I went with is it Stash? I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, Stack or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've watched a lot of Leeds. I haven't. I used to like Patrick Bamford, and they got rid of him, so now they're in my bad books.
yeah,
Um, I think, yeah, I think what I've seen of him, he looks good. I, I'm not gonna waffle because I don't watch Leeds. So yeah, it was
yeah.
hard that one.
Yeah, I struggled just because it's. I mean, it's Leeds. They've not been around long enough. I also
No,
realised I was fucking called Kenny Tete a winger, and he's not. But
he's a fullback actually. I don't know why
yeah,
I didn't pick that up.
I
I let you get
realised
away
that.
with that as well.
Yeah, It annoyed me that much. I had to swear about it. But moving on to Liverpool, I
Oh,
think for me, I mean, there's only one Salah.
really?
I don't know who else you could have. You've
Are
got
you
probably the.
joking?
I mean, you've probably got the Premier League's best player there.
You're
I
forgetting
mean,
one
you got
person.
maybe Van Dijk, but
Yeah, man. It's got to be.
no, Salah.
They
He's
they look significantly worse without Van Dijk than they do without Salah. Salah hasn't even played the game this season, and they're still doing well without Van Dijk. You remember when he did his ACL,
yeah,
and they looked shaky at the back. Van Dijk.
yeah,
I mean, I don't. By the way, I just want to point out quickly, I don't agree with this not dribbled past stat because if you see the way he defends, obviously, like that's a stupid stat. Anyone that uses it as a point to make him seem like he's better is ridiculous. I just think out of all the defenders they've got, I think Van Dijk, obviously club captain, he's just an absolute presence. Not saying I think you could argue Salah. I'm just going back to the point of remember I said about if you take Rice out or take Saka out,
yeah.
who does better? I think you get rid of Van Dijk, they're in a world of pain. I really
Yeah,
do.
he was obviously one I definitely looked at.
Or
But
even
yeah, I
Allison.
think Salah. Yeah, Allison certainly was a good shout as well. I just think Salah. I think he's the best player in the Prem. I don't
I think
think
he plays with cement bricks on his feet.
there's no. I mean, his average player rating last season 8. That is outrageous. By the way, like
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
8
it's
player
Mohamed Salah,
rating.
isn't it? Like, yeah.
7.7 the season before that, 7.5 the season. He's consistently Liverpool's highest rated player.
I do think when you actually watch the game, sometimes he does go missing. There are a lot of games where he does go missing. They
Yeah,
get good
I think he
ratings.
does, but he's an average 30 goals a season. Like, not
Yeah,
quite 30 necessarily, but he will consistently be up there with highest goals and assists in the season.
until
And
he signs a
without
new
that,
contract, and then he's like,
yeah, he
I've got
goes
the
missing.
money.
He has an amazing season, yeah. Then he'll go missing for a bit because he's got a bunch of money. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just think 5th in the Ballon d'Or recently as well. I just think he's the Prem's best player. One thing that
Wait,
was
hold
also
on.
yeah, go on.
Can I just? I hate to interrupt. You think he's currently the best Premier League player?
Maybe not like right this second. I'm talking. I've done it. Obviously, I think
Yeah.
averagely Salah is the best player in the Premier.
Interesting. Okay.
In
Yeah.
average,
No,
I
fair
think
enough.
he's underrated. I think people hate on him for like no reason. I think he is so unbelievably good, and I think the question of, I think on any most given years, I think he has absolute claim for like best player in the world. Got
Do
a
you think he's the
stats.
best winger we've ever seen in the Prem?
No,
Okay.
no, because Cristiano Ronaldo exists. But
In
other
the
than
Prem?
that, yeah, he won a Ballon d'Or at United.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
quite literally the best winger, I think.
I mean,
Like,
yeah. I mean, again, I don't want. I'm not getting into it. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just think longevity comes into things.
yeah, of course, but I mean, Ronaldo was still there, like what, like 5 6 years. It's but yeah, no, I think certainly he can be considered that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
I think
Just
only
interesting.
Ronaldo for me, just because I think Ronaldo is a standout, better player than anybody we've ever seen other than Messi. But
Yeah.
that's
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, that's another question. But yeah, I think so. I think certainly could be considered.
I think my argument for Van Dijk is that if you were to do a Premier League all-time 11, Van Dijk is more likely to get in than Salah is.
On right wing,
That's not Salah's fault.
I actually don't think so.
I think
I can think of maybe 3 or 4 centre backs that have over him. Whereas
really.
Salah, a right winger, I can't think of anyone. Left wing, Ronaldo, possibly. Maybe you'd go for someone who's around a bit longer, like Henri. But on right wing, I can't think of anyone that I'd have over Salah.
Fair
Whereas
enough. No,
centre back, Ferdinand, Terry,
you
just to
think
name
they're better?
2, Vidic, maybe.
You think Vidic is better? No, do you know what? I'm not.
Possibly like possibly not over like whole career and what they managed to do for the club, but obviously Vidic was joining a really good team already. But
Yeah. No.
yeah, I think they're just better.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think people would agree with both of us.
Yeah, both
I think
obviously world class
both
players in
incredible
their own
players, right?
right, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully, that is true.
but yeah, for me, over when I was doing it, obviously I've done it quite statistical,
Hmm.
as well. Over the last 3 seasons, there has been a defender with in 23 as well, or even two. There's been a defender with higher player rating than Van Dijk, so
Yeah,
I had
fair
to take
enough.
that into account as well. But yeah, that's probably the first one where we've like outwardly disagreed. But
Yeah,
obviously, both are fantastic players in their own
yeah,
right. You
of
can't
course.
take
Yeah,
that away.
yeah. I
Now,
don't hate you.
obviously, I'll let you go first for this one,
No,
Man
do you know
City.
what? I'm interested to see your
Okay,
point because
right.
I think I know who you're going to say,
Okay,
but
who do you think I'm going to say?
no, because I can't say anything because
Okay,
what my point is I'm either going to tell you that you're bang on or that you're unbelievably wrong.
right.
So
So this is the only one in my notes that I wrote in brackets honourable mention. Um,
okay,
my honourable mention, and I'll tell you the actual one, but Rodri's the honourable mention just because I think he is on his day the best midfielder in the world.
hmm
However, the last few seasons he's not been playing at all. I couldn't put him in for that. I can't put
hmm
someone in who's not playing.
yeah,
So I had to go Haaland.
you're
Just
right.
for that reason.
Yeah, you're right.
I,
No, you're
I
absolutely right.
Rodri, it absolutely would have been.
Hmm.
But just last season, obviously, he
Well, he
was
got
completely
ACL,
out.
didn't he? He didn't
Yeah,
play.
and he's injured now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I just couldn't put him in. Obviously, 23, 24, absolutely absurdly good.
yeah.
Easily the best player in the world. And I
Hmm.
have said that for some time that I
Hmm.
think Rodri has been consistently one of the best players in the world for
Hmm.
some time. I think there was that stat that Man City, you didn't lose a game with him in as soon
Yeah,
as he, like, for like, what's it, like 30 odd, 40 games, something ridiculous.
something like that. Yeah.
And then he doesn't play and you instantly lose. Someone who has that high of an impact at a club like Man City is special.
I want to
But
just quickly correct yourself. So this is a bit disingenuous because it includes draws, but
yeah,
71 matches that Rodri was in,
Jesus.
we didn't lose.
Okay, I was way off then.
71.
Yeah,
That
that
includes
is.
draws, but I also think it's a
Oh
bit
yeah, that's
disingenuous
fine.
because
Like you haven't
I
lost, but
think it includes cup losses. I don't think it includes that. I'm not sure,
yeah,
but
okay, we're still
71
at a
consecutive
ridiculous
games,
stat.
nuts.
And he was the instant one I went to, but he just hasn't played over the
Yeah,
last season and a half, and I couldn't
he's
put
not
him
the
in
same
for that.
player,
No, I think he's
unfortunately.
still. Don't get me wrong, like still
Yeah,
obviously very good, but I just couldn't. And at
I'd have him
Haaland,
over any of the other DMs in the league. Fit.
yeah, fit, 100%. Yeah, I think fit. As I said, I think he's the best midfielder in the world.
Hmm.
Fit, fully fit. Yeah. I don't think anyone's close. To be honest,
Hmm.
I think he's outrageously good. But I couldn't just because he hasn't played. So the next best was Haaland. Obviously, it speaks for himself. Crazy high average player rating. Scores
Unbelievable.
like a million goals. He's everything you want in a striker. But he's fast. He's strong. Just
Yeah,
a really generational player.
yeah, absolutely. I think they've installed the unbelievable robot package because for this season he's just been he's I would say last season he looked a little bit immature and a little bit like he didn't want to take on the responsibility. This season he is different. He's defending. He's in the midfield. He's playing the balls. He's in the
Yeah.
positions to score some of the if anything, I think the stat at the moment is like he scored 9 goals or whatever it is. I know it's 12. Sorry. Our next best is an own goal stat. So
Yeah, it
he is
doesn't
quite
surprise me.
literally the only one currently carrying the team on his back. He should have won a Ballon d'Or. I refuse, and I will never
Who
not.
won the year he didn't?
Messi, wasn't it? Because of
Oh,
the
the
World
World
Cup.
Cup. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, I think, yeah, probably right. I
you
think
know,
Haaland should have
int-
won.
internationally, 48 appearances, and he's already scored 51 goals for Norway,
They've
mind
qualified
you.
as well now.
You know,
I'm
he.
sure they confirmed it.
I think we are seeing possibly one of the best strikers we've ever seen if he continues on this trajectory, and I think that to me is undeniable because the numbers. He's not the most beautiful player. I'm never going to say it. You know,
Oh
we
yeah,
see
it's not
beautiful
pretty to
players.
watch him play, but
No, you've seen
he is
Henri,
obviously.
Ronaldo, you know, even like Van Persie, places like that. They're beautiful, right? Haaland is the clunkiest.
Yeah, he's Rudy-esque, where he's just like
He's,
clumsy, but he's just really good.
He's just his output. If he continues on the way, I mean, he signed a 10-year deal with us. If he continues scoring the amount of goals that he scored for us, we are seeing the best goal scorer in the Premier League, and I will not.
Yeah, in the
budge.
Premier, 100%. I think he's certainly got potential.
He's got the potential to be the best striker in the world. I do believe that.
What, of all time, do you reckon?
Yeah.
I think no, because R9 Ronaldo had won like 2 Ballon d'Ors by 21.
But he's only 20. Yeah, but you have to remember he's 25 at the moment. If he continues on this trajectory, the Ballon d'Or to me means nothing because it's a popularity contest.
Yeah,
he should have won it.
But it's.
I think if he continues on this trajectory, this isn't me going crazy about. Oh, it is actually because I love him. I think if he continues, he's 25 at the moment. You know, you look at the likes of Harry Kane. He's 30 something, still banging in goals for Bayern Munich. Even if he goes for another 10 years, if he keeps this up, it's incredible. But
yeah, I think he certainly could be. I think
it's just a weirdo, actually.
I constantly see him posting social media stories.
He loves Snapchat
about IKEA and stuff. It's like I don't know what's going on, but
he's
I think certainly could be considered up there one day.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Manchester United. I would assume we've probably got the same here. Who have you got?
I've got Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I think this one is probably one of the easier ones.
It would have been that or Kobe Mainoo.
I think he's been very poor, other than like the one breakout season he had. Is the problem.
But do you think that's? I think if I'm honest, I think that's more Ruben Amorim's system rather than him as a player. I think it just.
But he can only play in the system he's got.
True. No, that's very true.
We can
either pick it up and get on with it, don't you?
Yeah, like we can speculate and say. Whereas Fernandes has seen 4 different managers now, and he's been very good in every single one.
Although I think you should have sold him.
Yeah, 100%. It's just he wouldn't go.
No,
but I think I mentioned briefly earlier that Caicedo is the second highest midfield average player rating over the last 3 years. Well, Fernandes is first. He is consistently within the top 5 highest average player rating players in the league. I think he is like very consistently good,
which is arguably probably more impressive because he played for the Man United team.
Yeah, because the team around him, although talented players, obviously the performances aren't there. I think obviously he's a captain as well, so he's having to try and kind of push everybody. But a lot of people do question his sort of defensive ability. But I'm looking at the stats here from the last 3 seasons. He has the most ball recoveries in the league over the last few seasons. Tackles 1, duels 1, and possession 1 in his own half as some of the highest in the league.
I think he's underrated because people hate him.
Yeah, people really don't like him.
And I get it because his attitude stinks.
Oh, he is a very frustrating person.
But we've had this discussion personally. If he's on your team, you love him. If you're against him, you hate him.
Don't get me wrong, he is absolutely frustrating. He's a bit petulant at times, but he is a world-class player. And I'm surprised, to be honest, because I think there were times where he could have gone anywhere and he has stuck around.
Yeah,
I think he loves the club. But I think that one, I think potentially for Newcastle, who's next, we might have the same kind of answers as well.
Are we going from one Bruno to another?
We might be. I think I'll let you loop.
From one Bruno to another, we're going up to Newcastle, and I've gone Guimaraes. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was close between him and Joe Linton.
Joe Linton.
Yeah, man. Joe Linton is criminally underrated. He's a bruiser, mate.
Fair play.
When they moved him back they brought him in as a striker initially. Moved him back into the midfield, and he's just been. The 3 for Newcastle is Guimaraes, Tonali, and Joelinton. I think that 3 is just a bruiser midfield.
Do you think?
You're getting beaten up if you go anywhere near him. It's over for you. You ain't going anywhere near him.
I think Tonali, yes, but I probably would have said Nick Pope over Joelinton. He's been on the last few seasons, Last few seasons.
He was bad last year. I mean, he was injured. I'll give him that.
Don't know. What? Nick Pope? second highest average rating for a
Surprises me it's
keeper.
that high actually because he has been
But
injured and he was a bit ropey. But
yeah,
I think, I think we've both got Guimaraes. I think if
yeah, I think he has been their best
he
player.
loves the club, doesn't he?
He
He
does, yeah.
loves them.
He's full of
Yeah,
passion.
yeah. He's a proper tune, isn't he? Like respect it, Um,
Yeah,
he's sort of stuck with them through their, you know, rocky patches, if you like, and now he's seeing the fruits of sticking around. And he could have done an Isak and been pathetic about it and
yeah,
got his out the door, but no, he's stuck with them. Brilliant player, thuggish at times, which I quite like in a midfielder sometimes.
yeah. He's absolutely everywhere. Just all over the
Workhorse.
place.
Yeah, like I'd have him at City any day, mate. I'll tell you that.
Oh god, yeah, 100%. I'll take him. I think any Prem club would,
Yeah,
realistically.
yeah.
Moving on to Nottingham, who have you got?
This was, now I think about it, slightly difficult because I could have gone with Chris Wood just based off last season.
Hmm.
But I went with Gibbs White. I think
I
probably their
almost
best,
went Gibbs White.
probably in my opinion their best player. The fact that Marinakis has held him hostage is interesting. Um, but yeah, I think I couldn't really. I could have maybe a shout out to their defenders, Milenkovic and Murillo,
Yeah,
maybe. But yeah, I think
Willy Bolly.
no. Oddly enough, not Willy Bolly.
Yeah,
uh,
I Gibbs White was someone I immediately looked at. I just think he's had a really bad start.
yeah,
I went Elliot Anderson. We
yeah,
mentioned him earlier, and that's I somehow forgot that he'd gone Nottingham, and I picked him. I think he's been their best player this season in the limited kind of success that they've actually had.
yeah,
I think again very similar. Like his primary role is like defensive kind of mid.
yep,
He does control games. He's very high in stat percentiles for everything but goals, which is not
mhm,
his game.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think just very consistently good. Last season, he was in their top three kind of players. I think Gibbs White probably was their better player last season, but I think Elliot
yeah.
Anderson a bit more consistent.
Not mad at
Other
that.
than, other than maybe Willy Bolly, I don't even know if he's still at Nottingham. Is he? Like
Probably not. Probably not.
I've got
I don't
no
know.
idea. He doesn't play if he is, but yeah, there are a few. Hudson
No,
Odoi,
he is
maybe.
still there.
Is he? Right,
Yeah, he is still
changing it.
there.
Willy Bolly. Has he even played a game this season?
I don't know. He's got 37 appearances and he scored 2 goals. So
He's
take
been there
that.
like 3 or 4 years. Oh god, he's
He's,
shocking. He's like,
he actually signed an extension last year. So
I've probably just seen it out now, and he's plays in Europe technically somehow. If he's,
unlike
I doubt
Willy
he's in the
Bolly.
squad, but
No,
yeah,
probably not.
fair enough. Sells as well, maybe could have been up there, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
like Sells.
Um, Elliot Anderson. Sunderland was one I struggled with because they've literally this is their first like few months in the Premier League for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So I just went with I don't know how to pronounce it properly. Robin Roths or Roths, the keeper.
Yeah, he's been good.
He's
He's
just
young as
someone I
well.
went. Yeah, he's got what 3 or 4 clean sheets this season. Done very well for what Sunderland had probably predicted to.
Surprisingly, yeah.
I think he's just been one of the standout players this season for probably where it's been expected that they're not, everyone kind of had him 20th going down.
Yeah.
And he's been really
Yeah.
solid. He's got some of
Yeah.
the highest saves in the league, his save percentage, his goals prevented based on like accurate shots as well.
Mhm.
Very high. So for me, him just for consistency.
Yeah, I kind of cheated a little bit because I don't. I'm not gonna lie, I've not watched a single Sunderland game. I just went Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, I
Based
almost
off.
did for him.
It's not really fair because he's not a Sunderland. Obviously, he is a Sunderland player, but he's been there. It's his first season, so it's kind of not disrespectful to the Sunderland players that have been there longer. He's just sort of the main name, and I think
Yeah.
he's probably pulling the strings. He's obviously he was Arsenal's captain for a little while, and
Yeah.
he's a big name for the club. So yeah, I think I don't
Yes,
really have any
fair shout.
shout
Yeah.
outs. Unfortunately, I don't watch Sunderland. Unfortunately,
Tottenham, I have
I've struggled
got.
with this.
There were a few that I think could have been picked. And in the end, I went with Pedro Porro. Very similar
Okay.
to your Matoma and like Caicedo kind of picks, where they're just workhorses.
Yeah,
Porro is no exception to that. He's consistently got a very high average player rating. I think he's a rare one where I think he's actually quite good defensively and offensively. He
yeah,
is actually in the top 95%, so top 5% over the last few seasons for chances created, but he's also in the top quarter for defensive contributions as well. I think he's just got a bit of everything. And I do think they miss him when he's not there compared to others. Obviously, it probably would have been Son, but he's gone. So couldn't have been him. And I think he's just been mega consistent.
yeah. I mean, he was at City for
Yeah.
3 years. Never played a game.
No.
um, I went with Van der Ven.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a good shout.
I'm kind of regretting my answer because I just think he was better in. It sounds strange, but he was better in Postecoglou's system because he had the pace.
Yeah.
Obviously, Postecoglou playing that high line, Van der Ven was kind of like the perfect defender for him. And obviously he's very physical. I think he's the quickest. He registered the quickest sprint in the Premier League
Yeah, I believe
last
so.
season or whatever it was. Great player, and he's actually got a goal scoring record in him as well. You know, he does pop up and score a few goals. Quite young as well. I think if Tottenham can hold on to him, they've got a good centre back for a good few years there. So
Yeah, he has scored this season as well.
yeah,
So,
did me well on the
um,
FPL points on that one. So mate,
yeah, I've got Pedro Porro consistently in mind, and
yeah,
he provides good points as well. So the last two teams, we're going into two terrible teams here. West
yeah,
Ham, I'm going to assume we've probably got the same player here,
yeah.
surely.
Packet of crisps. Yeah.
Oh, you got Paquetá?
Yeah. Why?
Oh,
Who did you
okay.
go for? Oh, you went
Bowen.
Bowen, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paquetá
Yeah.
would have been the other one, but
Yeah. I think
I
either
think,
or.
yeah, they're both obviously. I think they're both their best players. For me,
Definitely.
I think Paquetá is just a little bit more up and down, whereas
I,
Bowen is more consistent.
yeah. I'd sort of low-key forgotten about Bowen. I think I would switch to Bowen. Like you say, a bit more consistent, a bit more level-headed. Um, I think.
Absolutely loved as well.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. He's Mr. West Ham, isn't he?
Yeah, he poster boy
Although
for the club, 100%.
I think if he does leave, I think Danny Dyer will kill him. So
Yeah,
it
I don't know if he can ever leave for the feud of his own life.
might be in his contract, you know. It might be
Yeah,
that you
if he
can't
leaves,
leave.
he dies.
Danny Dyer hunts you down.
Married? Is he
Um,
married? Is he
I
married
think
or just dating?
well, he's had
Danny
a kid,
Dyer.
hasn't he? He's had a kid with Danny
Yeah,
Dyer,
yeah,
the
still
the
married.
female
Yeah,
Danny Dyer,
Danny Dyer's
mind
daughter,
you.
Danny Dyer. There's too many Danny Dyers
That's a
going
bit
on.
nuts, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
yeah, I think both very good players. I just think Bowen for me a little bit more consistent, but
and he
I
won
think
them their first cup.
Paquetá.
Well, not their first cup.
Well, yeah, he did. He got the gold in the in
Yeah,
Prague
yeah.
to win them their first European trophy ever. So yeah,
Yes.
fair enough. I will say I do think Paquetá's got slightly higher ceiling as a player, but I just think Bowen's a bit more consistent.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and then I think potentially the hardest one for me was Wolves
Yeah,
because
because
they're
they're all
so
terrible.
bad. Yeah, who did you go for? I'm
I went
curious.
Strand Larson.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I think I only really based that off the fact that Newcastle were almost willing to pay 60 million for him. Um, you can't name me another player in that team other than maybe Gomez that is even, and maybe Huang, maybe if I was
I
to
think
stretch
Huang's
it.
fallen off a bit, but
Um,
yeah.
if I was to no, when I'm saying stretching it, I mean like you
Yeah,
know you try
elastic
you
bands out, you are stretching
yeah.
it. Like,
I've got the last little bit of butter in the tub, and I'm trying to get it out for my toast. You know, like
yeah,
nothing there. Um, yeah, I think Wolves
they're
are.
dire.
Yeah, they're terrible. If they don't
Yeah,
get relegated, I'll be shocked.
yeah, I agree. I struggled. There were some players. You did mention him. I did go João Gomez. I
Yeah.
think again, no, I don't think he's been amazing. I just think he's been their most consistent over the last like 3 or so seasons. That is
Mm.
still there.
I did say if he
Obviously.
gets injured, they're done.
Oh yeah, 100%. The other players that you probably could have put Cunha gone.
Yeah.
Like Nauri gone.
Yeah.
You had I forget his name. Oh my god, he went Chelsea.
Oh,
Winger.
Pedro Neto.
Yes, him, Ruben Neves as well, gone
Of
obviously.
course, yeah.
So there were a few. Their team was obviously a lot weaker than it was, but I think he's just kind of the best of a pretty bad bunch. That
Yeah.
inconsistency. Honourable mention did go to Sam Johnston though. He's got an insanely high player rating this season.
Yeah, fair.
So he was someone I did look at, but not around long enough for me. So
No.
yeah, that's who we've gone.
Interesting. Okay. That wasn't actually as bad as I expected. I expected a lot of disagreements, but
Yeah, I think the only one that's probably a proper discussion point is the Liverpool one. But
yeah.
other than that, I think there were quite a few agreements there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going
Yeah.
to have to revisit this Liverpool one at some point to fight it out a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think anyway, from my point of view, that's kind of where we are. If you guys obviously want us to do the worst players on every team, then obviously let us know. And if you obviously disagree with us, also let us know. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so. What's interesting before we finish is we always say to ourselves when it comes to international break, it's boring and stuff to talk about. We've been going for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
So it's actually probably our longest episode. So thank you for hanging in there and listening to our awful opinions. But yeah, no, I think that's a good place to round off, and we'll actually come back next week with more lists because we're actually
Yeah.
recording before the games
Yes,
come
I'm
out.
in Cagliari
You
next
are
week
indeed.
in Italy. I am doing the ground while I'm there. Managed to get a ticket for it. Trying to get tickets for it was an absolute nightmare. If you ever want to ground hop it, just anybody listening, just don't. Or get the ticket in Italy. Don't try and get it here or wherever you are beforehand because it's an absolute nightmare. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll obviously talk more about that when I'm back and I've been.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, I'll let you lead us out.
Amazing. So, thank you guys for listening. All of our socials are in the link below, or the links below in the description. We're on every platform you can think of. Give us a follow and obviously let us know any feedback or any sort of disagreements or agreements you had with us and anything you want us to cover. Let us know. But other than that, thank you guys for listening and we'll see you next time.
Good stuff. Goodbye, my friends.
See you later.